Good evening, lifers. Good evening, community. I am Ruth, your peace coach, and welcome to 15 to Life, where we learn, grow, and serve for a peaceful life. In these next 15 minutes, I not only prepare you for your upcoming week, but for the rest of your life. Ladies, I'm so happy to have you on here on this Sunday, this Juneteenth day celebration. If you're doing something special, put it in the comments and let me know what you're doing so I can see what you're doing. I always like to say, if you have not already, make sure you like the page, follow the page, share the stream because we're growing our community. Y'all know I like to get at least 10 shares. So hit that little button and share it on your page, because somebody I know needs what we are discussing tonight. All right. And for those of you who are watching on YouTube, or let me see, what else there? YouTube, Facebook. Yes. Thank you so much for watching. Y'all know I'm on YouTube too. Yeah. You can check me out on YouTube at My Perfect Peace Community on YouTube if you want to watch on there, or you can watch on Facebook if you're already there as well. Let me see who's on here I can say hi to. Phyllis Keelan. Hello. Rhonda Thornton, how are you? Kenya, please tell mom I said hello. Janice Pryor, Monica, I ain't getting no cake. I'm just saying, what's up with that? I'm going to need some cake. Pastor Harris, how are you? Auntie Helen, hey, everybody. Again, hit that share button and share. Let me tell you. Okay, I already had my whole teaching done, completed. It was ready to go. I just had to, send it to myself. But then last night I got to thinking, and I was like, I think I want to change what I'm going to talk about. And so I changed. And what I said I wanted to do was I wanted to talk about Juneteenth. And I know you may be thinking today, you may be saying, well, Pastor Ruth, or Coach Ruth, sorry, here I'm Coach Ruth. You might be saying to yourself, well, listen, I've heard so much about Juneteenth and blah, blah, blah. But you know what? I don't think that thank you so much, Evangelist Pryor, for sharing. Yeah, if you put it in there that you shared it, put it in there so I can know. But you may be saying to yourself, hey, I'm already hearing so much about Juneteenth and why do we need to have that discussion again and talk about it? Because we can't talk about it enough because it's such an important part of, I'm going to say, the history of the United States. It is Black history, yes, but it is the history of the United States. And so you cannot discuss it enough. And it is more than a sale. And I'm halfway looking over here in my inbox and in my email, and I'm seeing all these companies that are having these Juneteenth sales and all of that. And that really bothers me because now it's something that's being commoditized, where people are just making a buck off of it. And that is not what it was meant to be. I don't know if you're aware that Walmart, they had a Juneteenth ice cream, and it was like red velvet cake and cream cheese and something else, which was very stereotypical anyway. But people, made such an uproar about it that they had to recall it and take it off the shelves. And I think that the company that put it out there, I think they were trying to trademark the name Juneteenth. Yeah, which meant that they were the only people who could use it. And if somebody else used it, that they would have to, pay them money because they had trademarked, they were going to try to trademark the name Juneteenth. That's right, Sheila. Always, it always comes, and it just bothers me so much. I've seen so many Juneteenth sales. It just makes me sick. And so I just wanted to thank you, Goldie, for sharing the stream. Donna, thank you for sharing. Let me see who else is on here. Hey. Yeah, Phyllis said, yeah, she saw that. Yeah, where Walmart, it was like a Juneteenth ice cream. And then it was just crazy. So yeah, I just felt like that I wanted to say a little bit more about Juneteenth and what it was. And so I'm just going to give you, and I know you're saying, but I already know, but you can't, that's almost like your family history. You can't hear it enough. With your family history, you want to know about your great grandmother and great grandfather and great great aunts and uncles and those people. You can't tell those stories enough because you have to carry that down, because if we don't know the narrative, guys, then other people will come in and determine what that narrative is and what you know about it. But once you know it, and nobody can take it away. Okay, so here's a picture it's a photograph of the Emancipation Day celebration, June 19th, 1900. And so again, I just want to give you some quick, I want to know, ladies, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about Juneteenth? How do you feel about it? Do you feel it's being commercialized? Do you feel like you know enough about it? Do you, what do you feel about that? And I'll tell you one of the things that I feel, and I know I'm going to be getting off a little bit, is that I was just telling somebody that, out of all of the protests from 2020, The only thing that we got out of it was Juneteenth, the federal holiday. We got no voting rights protections, none of that stuff. We got Juneteenth, okay? And yeah, so we have to do better. We got to fight more. But anyway, I just want to give you 10 quick facts that you may already know these things. And if you know them, that's wonderful. If you don't know them as I go through them, then I want you to say, you know what? Hey, I didn't know that. I'm glad to know that. Okay. But if you know all of them, you get an A plus. Okay. So put yourself an A plus in there if you know all these at the end. Okay. So here's the verse. Following the issuing of the Emancipation Proclamation on January 1st, 1863, not all enslaved people immediately found freedom. Here's the thing. The slaves in the slaves that were living in the states where the rebellion, Civil War was, they were free. That's Georgia, Alabama, the Carolinas, Virginia, all those southern states. They were all freed. And that's how come you will see a lot of the former enslaved men, they were fighting in the Civil War, okay? Because the Emancipation Proclamation came on January 1, 1863. But those border states like Texas, it didn't include them, okay? It only included those states that were fighting, that were pulled out, that were a part of the rebellion, okay? The Confederacy, it included those states. Didn't include states like, Texas, California, because they weren't a part of the Civil War. Hope that makes sense, okay? So that's why Texas, they didn't know, because they weren't even included in it. It was just those other states, okay? So here's something else. The Civil War ended in the summer of 1865. Union General Gordon Granger, and this has picture, and his troops traveled to Galveston, Texas to announce General Orders Number 3 on June 19th, 1863. June 19th will go on to be known and celebrated as Juneteenth. So again, 2.5 years later, General Granger, he arrives in Texas with this it's a whole separate piece of information for the slaves. And what that said was, and I'm going to read this because I know, and that's what was shown in the newspaper. It says, General Orders Number 3 stated, the people of Texas are informed that in accordance with the proclamation from the executive of the United States, all slaves are free. This involves an absolute equality of personal rights and rights of property between former masters and slaves, and the connection heretofore existing between them becomes that between employer and hired labor. The freedmen are advised to remain quietly at their present homes and work for wages. They are informed that they will not be allowed to collect at military posts, and that they will not be supported in idleness either there or elsewhere. Really? So that was the proclamation that came to them that said that they were free. Remember, they were not a part of the original January 1st, 1863 that came from Abraham Lincoln. Okay? Now, did you know this? Part of the General Order Number 3, and I just read this, encouraged the newly freed people to remain with their past owners. It told them, you're encouraged to stay here on this plantation. Don't leave. Stay here and just work for your former master, your former slave owner, and then there's going to pay you some money this time. Don't leave. Stay there. And I've seen, I don't know, many of you, if you've seen these pictures, and these are pictures of slaves, female slaves with their slave owners, and y'all know how they had to take care of the children and those kinds of things. Let me see. Is there an echo, or is it me? Is anybody else hear an echo? You just let me know. Okay. All right. So they were encouraging them. They didn't want them to go out and start their own life. They didn't want them to move. They didn't want them to stay right there. Isn't that how that always works? Isn't that how that works? Yes. The period after Juneteenth is known as the scatter. because during that time, that's when the former slaves or enslaved were like, y'all must be crazy. I'm getting up out of here. And they all left. They were going to find their families who had been sold off. They were going to start new lives, all of that. So again, if y'all knew any of this information, put a hand up if you say, yes, I knew that. Or did you know that the original proclamation didn't include the other states? It only included those southern states. It didn't include all of them. Or did you know this part about the scatter? I want to know. Okay. So then Juneteenth has been celebrated under many names. You got Freedom Day, Jubilee Day, Celebration Day, Second Independence Day, and Emancipation Day. All right, Sandra Easy, why did I know you would know? I know you would know. Anybody else know all this? Yes. So it's been celebrated under many different names. Emancipation Park in Houston, Texas, was bought specifically to celebrate Juneteenth. And this I thought was interesting. It says the 10-acre parcel of land was purchased by former slaves Richard Allen, Richard Brock, Jack Yates, and Elias Dibble for $800 in 1872. So can you imagine, how did they come up with $800 in 1872? I know some people here in 2022, they can't come up with $800, but they came up with $800 in 1872 to buy the parcel of land, the 10 acres that Emancipation Park sits on. Isn't that great? That's great information. Yeah, Phyllis, I didn't know about the scatter either. Okay, so here we go, because I only got 2 minutes left. All right, during the early 20th century, Juneteenth celebrations declined because you had Jim Crow, separate but equal. I've got the pictures there where you see all that. Most of us know about Jim Crow. So there was a serious oppression that we were under. So some of the celebrations, they just kind of ceased because so much other things were going on. Now, the celebration of Juneteenth was revived during the Civil Rights Movement. And the Poor People's March, which was led by Martin Luther King, planned by Martin Luther King Jr., was purposely scheduled to coincide with the date. March participants took the celebrations back to their home states, and soon the holiday was reborn. And so you can see on the picture there were some of the people in Washington, D.C. that were there for the Poor People's March, which was planned by Dr. Martin Luther King, coincided with Juneteenth. Okay, now, here we go. Celebrations of Juneteenth continue today. On June 17th, 2021, President Biden signed the Juneteenth National Independence Day Act, which officially made Juneteenth a federal holiday. Now, in our last minute that we have, what can you do? What can you do, ladies? Okay, what can you do? First, you can videotape your elders talking about your ancestors, because once those elders are gone, ladies, they are gone. That history, if you don't have it written down somewhere, it is gone. So you want to have them tape that. Everybody's got a camera on their phone. Tape that elder person in your family and get that history so you can know what great grandmama's name was and who her daddy was and, where they lived and where they came from and all of that. You don't want to lose that history. Okay. I'm trying to look at my notes here. You can research your family history because I know that's kind of small. I'm sorry. You can research your family history. You need to know that. I do that through ancestry.com. And I would suggest, it costs like about $100 a year for that website to get access to all that information. But to me, it's priceless. Like I just have to have that information. So I have to look it up. Okay. So look up your family, research your family history, take a DNA test to determine your familial origins. I did a DNA test. That's why Pastor teases me because I'm like 37% Nigerian. And then there's like some Benin, Togo, but then there's like 21% that's like British Wales, Germany, Ireland, all of that adds up to about 21% in me. And I know where I get that from. Okay. Then you can also, take as many pictures as you can of the elders in your family members, as a lasting family memory. So you want to do that. I know I'm over about a minute and I do apologize for that. But those are things, ladies, that you can do for your family history, for those children, grandchildren to come. I wish I had pictures of my great grandfather and grandmother. We don't. I have them going back so far, but not quite that far. Well, you can do that for your children and grandchildren. You can say, okay, here are pictures of great grandmama and great granddaddy, and this is where they lived and all of that. So I want you to know your history, ladies. I want you to know, okay? Because when you know, nobody can take it away from you because you know, okay? All right, ladies, if you knew that information, raise your hand. If you didn't, say, I didn't know that. And thank you for that information. If you have not already shared the stream, make sure you share the stream because I believe that this is some good information and maybe this might help somebody else in their family. All right, ladies, I love you all. Those who are, let me see, there's somebody watching on YouTube. Put something in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching on YouTube. Those of you watching on Facebook, ladies, I love you to life. I see you to life. I changed that. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that. But always remember, I love you. I believe in you. I believe in your dreams. But most importantly, I believe in your action. So get out there and look up your family history. Take that grandmama and granddaddy. All right. Get them on video. Do what you got to do for your family history. All right. And that doesn't matter whether you're black or white, orange or green. You need to know your family history. All right. I love you all. I see you and I'll see you next week. All right. Bye-bye.